Boobs, zonkers, headlights, watermelons, sweater puppies, pointers, knockers, jugs, tatas. These are just some of the silly and sometimes derogatory words used to describe a woman's breasts. With us today to discuss what is definitely the #1 symbol of American female sexuality are two obvious experts, Hollywood sex symbols Angeline and Edy Williams. Author and philosopher Erica Jong is also here to try to make sense of our breast obsession. Women and their breasts, from the bodacious to the barely there. That's the focus today on Geraldo. Breasts have become, thank you, breasts are so much of an obsession, it's almost as if no one remembers their true function. And who cares most about breast size? Now, is it primarily a male fetish? Some guys in the audience might say yes. Or is it a female fixation? Now, before we get to more formally meet today's guests, why don't we go back to the roots of the breast obsession? Ah, you are fair, my darling. Ah, you are fair. Your breasts are like two fawns, twins of a gazelle browsing among the lilies. That, incidentally, is from the Bible. Here it is in the original Hebrew. And we quote scripture merely to show that men have been talking about women's breasts for an awfully long time. Breasts haven't always been men's primary fixation, though. In the Middle Ages, a large stomach was sought after as a symbol of divine fertility. An exaggerated hindquarters was all the rage in the 19th century. And in the roaring 20s, the flat-chested flapper was every man's ideal. But for most of the last 60 years, full-figured women like Marilyn Monroe have been America's sex goddesses. Dr. Helen Fisher is a respected anthropologist whose work is unlocking the wonders of human behavior. We chose to ask her about breasts.
When you think about big breasts, all it is a lot of extra fat around the nipple. I mean, chimpanzees, our very close relatives, have the same nipple and the same structure and suckle their babies, but don't have the large breasts that the human female does. Really, this extra fat on the breast is of no use to the woman. It's very cumbersome, and it could suffocate the child. So there's got to be some other biological reason.
Darwin suggested women evolved big breasts for the same reason male lions evolved big manes.
Perhaps female lions like males with big manes. The bottom line is that women do have big breasts, and probably at least one significant reason is because men like them. Now the question becomes, why do men like women with big breasts?
Why? Because there's, I don't know, a difference. Men don't have breasts, women do.
I love to use them like as a pillow and rest my head in the middle of them to get that warmth.
What attracts me anatomically about women is their breast size,
Come on.
their physical build, hips.
This preoccupation is not true in all cultures. In the South Seas, small breasts are still thought to be the most attractive, and no one seems to be complaining. But in America, at the video stores, it seems as if big breasts still dominate the erotic market. Big breasts that leave men with that certain look in their eyes. Of course, it is partly cultural. Be honest, have you ever seen an evil movie queen who is flat-chested?
What are men good for? Men are useless.
In the higher arts, like ballet, a small chest is an asset. And in this fall's crop of movies, actresses like Sally Field and Glenn Close prove you don't need a big chest to be fatally attractive. But on TV, the jiggle movement that began with Suzanne Summers is still riding high with Joan Collins, Victoria Principal, and of course, Dolly Parton. Do women like to be looked at from the neck down?
They notice your chest first before they look, or they want to talk to you about, what your opinions on nuclear weapons are.
I did have one professor who noticeably gave stupid or less able women higher grades than they deserved because they had very large breasts.
I myself have small breasts. I found difficulty with men because they were obsessed with it.
Well, not all men.
The rear end is nice, and the breasts, well, every part is nice.
A true connoisseur. Okay, let me introduce our guest. Erica Jong would agree that every part is nice, but in her latest novel, Serenissima, the heroine, a 43-year-old Hollywood actress, lies about her age, panics about her looks, and fears losing her youth. By satellite, once again from Los Angeles, please welcome the perennially topless Edy Williams, in addition to Super Vixen starring roles in Beyond the Valley of the Dolls and more recently the classic Dirty Laundry, Bad Manners, and Rented Lips. She's famous for her annual nude romps in the fountains and pools at the Cannes Film Festival and her revealing Oscar night get-ups. Now, Angeline calls herself part of the Hollywood landscape. She is most famous for the 85 by 44-foot painted mural of herself that adorns the side of a building on the corner of Hollywood and Vine. Her previous claim to fame, in case you've never been to Los Angeles, was a billboard with her name and a phone number that was on Sunset Boulevard. Now, here in our New York studio, Bernadette Catherine is an aerobics instructor at her own gym, Bernadette's Chic Physique. She says she is happily flat-chested. And sitting next to her is Agneta Ekmir, a fashion designer and actress originally from Sweden. Her film career includes movies all the way from Disney to Ingmar Bergman. She hasn't always been full-breasted, which we will hear about in a minute, the evolution of Agneta's breasts. But let me start in Hollywood. Angeline, when men come up to you, what's the first thing they look at?
Well, you know, they look at my chest, but then they make their way up to my lips and then my eyes.
And how do you feel about the fact that they don't make instant eye contact, that they have to work their way up?
Well, they just can't help it. I understand.
Yeah, I'm curious about something. I know about the billboards and everything, and, you know, spending so much of my life out there, I obviously have noticed them. But what is it you do exactly?
Well, actually, I'm very talented. I sing, I dance, I can act, but it's so much fun being famous for nothing that I don't really want to, really. People come up to me all the time. What do you do? What do you do? So, figure it out.
Well, it must be your mind. It must be. But I was just wondering how big are you? I mean, what's your measurements?
If you want to know that, you'll have to come all the way to Hollywood and measure me.
You'd like that, wouldn't you? I look pretty close to it.
I might run a lot faster than you could get here.
Well,
but we could give it a try.
Yeah, I think I was interested only in an academic sense. Now, Edy, sitting next to you there, has made a career of taking your clothes off. Now, how would you feel, Edy, if a guy came up to you and said, I like your chest, or your zonkers, or your bonkers, or your watermelons, or your boobs, whatever you would call it? How would you react?
How would I react? I would just say, well, why don't you feel that and see how much you like it?
Let me come right back here to New York and let's get this. Stand by in Hollywood. Erica, is the breast obsession primarily a male thing or a female thing?
No, I mean, since I'm here to lend a note of credibility to these tawdry proceedings,
so bail me out.
Let me just say that the mind is the main erogenous zone, and whatever we associate with being sexy is what turns us on. I think, and it differs from culture to culture. You know, I have a very good friend whose father used to say, I just want you to remember that the physical side of sex is merely mental, Nancy D. And that's really true, that what we associate with sexuality is what turns us on and what gets us hot. And in our culture, both men and women seem to associate sexuality with big breasts. It's probably not scientifically true. I say, as a medium to small-breasted woman, that big-breasted women are necessarily more sexual. But men associate that image with it. But really, what is sexy is a fit of fantasies, being really a passionate person, and having a sense of play and fantasy and really being open to your own sexuality. Very few people have this, regardless of their physical physique. And I think the people who have that and who find someone with whose fantasy they interact have the most marvelous sex in the world. It's very, very rare. But it doesn't really have to do with how big your breasts are.
And yet, men are so obviously fascinated with Edy Williams in her movies, or even Angeline in your billboards. Are men fascinated by you, Angeline?
You know they are.
I think
now,
they like
is the
them as
mind,
toys.
or Edy, let me ask you, is your mind your most active erogenous zone, as Erica says?
My mind?
Yeah.
Well, my thoughts, it starts there, but then, you know, when you have something soft and curvy for someone to play with, that adds a lot to it. Because men are so angular and square, and women, you know, they're round and curvaceous, and I think that's the attraction, and they like something feminine and soft and curvy and things that stick out, you know? And
can you
I'm
base
getting more
a
than I bargained
relationship
for from
on
the
it?
coast. Now, Bernadette, you know, you're proud. You say you are proudly flat-chested. How does do you feel a sense of physical inferiority to the ladies joining us from the coast, or?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Tell me, what do you feel that there is a kind of a weighted ball game in America? Do you think? Well,
No, there are men.
That's an inappropriate metaphor, but you know what I mean.
People like different things. Some people like legs and behind, and some people like breasts. You know, so the behind can be very round and curvaceous also, and nice.
Now, Agneta, you have been small-chested.
Well, I mean, not that's a moment.
But you've evolved. I mean, your
Yeah,
top
I've
has
gone through them
evolved. Now,
mostly.
which do you prefer, or do you?
Well,
prefer
can I
more?
say 3 quick things, sort of?
Go ahead, please.
For instance, when I was young, starlet type, sort of visiting Hollywood, of course, your figure is helpful in many ways, but you just as many times go in and meet a producer who says, your can you say? Yeah, you can. Your breasts or your boobs
Just
are too
don't
big.
say the T word. No
and they
T
say
words.
too big, and you say for what? Or they're too small for what? Right? I remember I made a Walt Disney movie, which is then was supposed to be very prudish or whatever, and they would put me in what I wear now, a Sophia Loren bra. Helps everyone. But anyway, you know the kind of he used to wear in these old movies, and they would put one padded on me, and I didn't think much of it then, but my co-star never felt me when I fell on him in this earthquakes, you know. They sort of padded me up a lot.
Who is your co-star?
It was an English actor. I can't remember his name. David Hartman was in the movie, too. I was
David
a Viking
Hartman
present.
from Good Morning America.
Yes, exactly. But anyway, the next case
I'm sure
for
David
me,
doesn't like to be reminded of his.
well, I shouldn't talk about it either, but it didn't harm my life, you know. Meanwhile, I didn't fall on him. He was very protective.
He was?
Yes, he was an archaeologist. And the next case, I mean, I can say fast, is I had a baby, and he's now 11. And when you breastfeed, you know, your breasts go away, at least temporarily most of the time. And I did another movie. I'm just saying these things, we're talking to Hollywood here. But anyway, so I wasn't naked, it was a TV series. But the producer, director screamed across the room. It's kind of embarrassing when you're in an intimate scene under a towel with someone. What happened to your breasts? They went away. You know, so you get a lot of all this, but that's because I've been in that profession, like these ladies.
Okay, whether or not the obsession is a male obsession or a female obsession, I want to address that question when we come back after this. The breast obsession.